Major legislation approved in the South Carolina State House could bring more energy online in the coming years to homes and businesses.
But it could also mean that you'll see the cost of your electric bill go up. State House reporter Mary Green explains.
For the last few years, state lawmakers have been working on legislation they say is needed to ensure South Carolina can keep the lights on as it welcomes major growth. That effort is now closer than ever to reaching the governor's desk after senators overwhelmingly approved it this week.
We gave every stakeholder, something in this, and I think it's a very good bill, and it's such a good framework for energy production in South Carolina.
The expansive 80-plus page bill passed in the House of Representatives earlier this year, but senators made some changes to it this week. Among its many provisions, it streamlines the permitting and appeals processes for new power plants.
But it also keeps in place some important procedural safeguards during the PSC approval process. So interveners, environmental groups, they can be heard in regard to rate-making cases or in regard to site location.
It also gives lawmakers blessing to a partnership between state-owned Santee Cooper and privately owned Dominion Energy to build a natural gas plant at a former coal plant site in Colleton County. Senate Majority Leader Shane Massey was one of 3 senators who voted against the bill, which easily passed. He says that with Dominion and Santee Cooper customers still footing the bill for the multi-billion-dollar VC summer debacle nearly a decade ago, it's unfair for them to be on the hook for these new gas plant costs as well.
I have a hard time accepting that, and I'm not going to support it.
The legislation also makes it easier for utilities to raise rates more frequently, which power companies say will help them implement gradual increases over time instead of one large jump in costs every 4 or 5 years.
I'm concerned that what's happening with this is that you're going to have a result of where there's going to be more increases than you would have had otherwise, and that you're essentially going to boil the frog, and people aren't going to realize that they're getting hit with more and more until 15 years later, you look back and like, what in the world happened?
This bill next heads back to the House, where members can either agree with the Senate's changes and send the bill straight to the governor's desk, or opt to send the legislation to a negotiating committee to work out a compromise. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
One more provision of the bill would reduce the incentives the state can offer to high-powered data centers.
Several have announced plans to build in South Carolina over the past few years, and there's a major driver of South Carolina's need for more electricity.